Hello everybody, it's The Warm, and welcome back to Steins. Today we're starting our episode with, quite frankly, a pretty groovy version of the main menu music. I kind of like it. It's definitely a bit of a twist on what we had before. And I'm curious about why we're getting that now. I know we had a moment, what was it, 2 episodes ago, where they played the, I guess, would it be the main theme? Whatever the music in the main menu is, they played it within the episode, and that seemed to be, well, at least to me, signified something significant. And now we have a new version of that song, so I don't know, maybe it's nothing, but I guess we'll find out. Last time, a few things went down. For one, we ran into Moeka, and she seems to not be having a very good time. I don't know what her deal is yet. She seemed very excited when we explained to her that we've developed a new method of time travel, which is referred to as time leap. So that's certainly somewhat suspicious. And as I said at the time, I think we should probably not allow her near the time machine. I don't know what she could do, but well, you know, she did that thing where she grabbed onto our arm and kind of dug in her nails, so a bit suspicious. Yeah, I don't know what to expect from her. We also our situation is a bit different, as you can see on the screen here. 2 days have passed since Krisu and Mayuri have come to stay. So they both... I thought it was just for the night, but I guess both of them have decided to stay over for multiple days now. But Mayuri decided to stay in order for her to work on her costumes, in order for her to be done in time for, I believe they called it Komima, which is a kind of convention. And of course, Krisu is staying over in order to work on the time machine, or more specifically, the brain scanner machine. And then the final big thing that happened was we received another threatening email. This time it was a doll's head that looked like it was bloodied, and I believe it said something like, was it, we know what you're doing, or was that the first email? I'll have to check again. In any case, it freaked our boy Okabe out, and he ran home, or he ran to the lab, where he inadvertently walked in on our 2 girls taking a shower. And I get that there could be some excuses for that. You know, he was panicked, and he didn't think about knocking, and you know, why were they both having a shower in the first place when, at least on Karisu's part, she seemed uncomfortable even staying there, and all that sort of stuff. But I mean, we all know what that scene was for. I don't think there's any. I mean, I don't know. If I would be very surprised if at some point in, far in the future of this story, there's going to be a callback to that scene. It's like, oh, there was actually some sort of relevance here that you weren't aware of. But I think we all know what that was for. And, as one thing I particularly didn't like, I'll just say, it's the fact that before, relatively right before that scene, they had to mention, oh hey, they're minors. It's just, I don't know. It struck me as a bit odd, but yeah. As I said, we'll just move on from that, and hopefully we've made some progress on the machine, and hopefully we'll finally get to see it in action. Let's go ahead and see where this story takes us. 2 days pass since Karisu and Mayuri came to stay. During that time, Daru and I have done our best to support Krisu's work on the phone wave, named subject to change. According to Daru, it should be easy to use the LHC to generate black holes for our use. Black holes form at the proton collision point, where the lifter is installed, and exist for only a few seconds before evaporating. During those few seconds, CERN throws a human into the singularity. Wow. To be honest, I was thinking they would... I wasn't imagining something as direct as just tossing them in, but that is kind of an amusing scene to imagine. We'll use those few seconds too. The gravity of the black hole compresses matter to infinite density. CERN uses the lifter to keep the compression under control, but we don't want that. We're going to dial CERN's lifter down. Not so much that it endangers the world, of course, but enough to compress our memory data to under 36 bytes. Daru has been coding the necessary program. As for me, I've been searching for our lifter, the unknown device that pumps electrons into the phone wave, named subject to change, and keeps our black hole open. Krisu couldn't find anything that could serve as a lifter inside the microwave, so it must be something interfering from the outside. That's what I was saying. I was wondering. I was thinking. I mean, it's not like I've definitively said this, but I think I did mention something to this effect, that if it's not something on the microwave, maybe it's something else in the lab? Or heck, it could be... I mean, we already know there's a fiber optic cable running from our lab to CERN. Who's to say there could be some other device installed somewhere that we just don't know about? Now that I think about it, do you think there being a fiber optic cable under this building, do you think that could bring suspicion to Mr. Braun in any way, or are we still thinking it's just... Well, I should say, or am I thinking it's still just some sort of time travel shenanigans? Not sure. That actually, now that I've thought about it, I wanted to mention this too. There were some thoughts raised last time in the comments that thinking more about the emails we've received. The idea was something like these threatening emails could be someone trying to influence Okabe to do certain things. I guess the idea being there's someone in the future that wants Okabe to act in a certain way in order to, for at least for history to develop a certain way, and thus they get Okabe to do something. I think maybe that could be a thing. The only issue with that would be, well, certainly the picture. Man, I'm confused now. Are we still bound by the 36 bytes rule? Because now we're sending much more data compressed into 36 bytes. I was thinking because the pictures, it's not just text message we get, and it's also the pictures, and I think that would be a bit more than 36 bytes. But that might not be the case now that we know that, we can use the LHC to compress much more. There's also the fact that those messages seem kind of vague. So, if you're trying to get someone to do something specific, you'd think your message would be a bit more specific, but I don't know. But I thought it was an interesting idea, so I wanted to mention it. We're not sure what that could be, and so far we have no idea where to start looking. Yesterday I consulted Daru about the threatening email, but Daru insisted that there was no way CERN could have discovered his hacking yet. Of course, I had him doubly make sure we hadn't been tracked. His tests came back clean. I understand he's confident in his skills, and I trust him. If Daru says they haven't found out, then they haven't. But somehow, knowing that does not ease my anxiety. Okay. Got some mail from Lukako about summer plans. Have you gone to any festivals or fireworks shows this summer? Maybe you have plans to go with Mayuri-chan later. P.S. I did 22 practice swings with a Samadare. Oh, that's nice. I'm glad to hear you're still doing that. No, too crowded. I'm being chased by the organization. Uh-huh. Ariake? Let's do this one. Okay. And yes, we are... It is the 13th. 2 days later. Okay. It's Friday, and although we still haven't solved the lifter problem, Krisu is just about done with the time leak machine. Naturally, that means it's time for her to give me something else to worry about.
最終調整のために電話レンジを稼働させる。
I groan. In other words, we have to cause the electrical discharge phenomenon. There's a risk involved. A risk called Mr. Braun. As we know, the discharge phenomenon causes the entire building to shake. Last time, Mr. Braun threatened to raise our rent if it happened again. Krisu and Daru look at me.
オカリン、あとは任せた。
フォローお願い。
つまり敵地に乗り込み死ねというのだな。
Yes, you shall be the sacrificial lamb this time.
あんたの犠牲があって初めてタイムリープ用電話レンジは完成するのよ。
それにこれまでも店長のご機嫌取りに行ってたのはオカリンだったじゃん。
ならばなおさらたまにはお前たちが。
私は無理。あの店長さん以前にバイトから目の敵にされてる。
いいだろう。だが忘れるな。俺は絶対に死なん。不死鳥のごとく何度でも蘇るぞ。
With that said, I head down to handle things with Mr. Braun.
おかりん、死んじゃやだよ。
Well, if it's you asking my Yuri, then I'm sure we could make an exception. As I pass through the lounge, my Yuri looks up from her costume to see me off. Ah, the gang's all here. When I step into the store, Mr. Braun, Suzuha, and the Chipmunk are all watching some comedy show on a massive 42-inch CRT. Watching TV at noon without a customer in sight. Looks like business as usual at the Braun Tube workshop.
おーす、岡部倫太郎。
I raise my hand in response to Suzuha's greetings. The chipmunk, Nai, quickly hides behind her father when she sees me.
この店は相変わらず繁盛していないようですね。
おう、岡部か。ブラウン管買ってけ。
いりません。俺は解雇中ではないのでね。買うなら液晶テレビを買いますよ。
I look around the store as I answer. Huh. I just thought of something. Like CERN's Large Hadron Collider, the phone wave name subject to change must have some kind of electron feed to keep the black hole open. CERN calls this feed the lifter. We still haven't figured out what that is, nor what could be acting as a substitute lifter in our time machine. Are you thinking it's something in their CRT shop? Huh. What if our lifter is somewhere in this shop? Could be. Whatever it... How about I try that again? Whatever it is, it must be in close proximity to the phone wave name subject to change. It couldn't work otherwise, and the Braun Tube workshop is located directly below the lab. Could our lifter be our CRT?
てめえ最近女ばっか連れ込んでるらしいじゃねえか。
Sorry, I meant to click this. Ferris! I was forcing myself to be cheerful for the last phone call, and yeah, I actually feel like I could die, and yeah. Well, good luck with that, because I can't reply again, so bye-bye.
ばっかと言ってもいつもメンツは変わりませんよ。
私もこの前お邪魔してきたよ。
たまには俺も呼べ。娘と話してみて。
Careful.
お父さん、ケツ。
違うぞなえ。これは社会勉強であり、それと顧客獲得のための営業活動なんだよ。
Check out this scary-looking guy trying desperately to explain himself to his daughter. Hilarious.
そもそもさ、店長の言い草じゃまるで私が若くないみたいじゃん。
若くはないな。
Suzuha is the same age as Daru and I, which makes her older than Mayuri or Kurisu.
なーにー？岡部倫太郎、なんつった？
事実だ。
なえ、お父さんはお前さえいれば幸せなんだからな。ね。
うん、わかってるよ。でも、ケツっぽいことはもう言わないでね。
もちろん約束するさ。
Then he joins Pinkies with his daughter. Damn, Mr. Braun, you're way off character. How does a guy like him produce a daughter like that? Nai is one of the kindest, gentlest girls I've ever met. I don't know why she's so afraid with me, though. Of me, rather. Anyway, I came here to explain that the building's about to shake. How do I avoid having my head ripped off? How many more earthquakes do you think this building can handle? No, that's way too obvious. An earthquake is coming. My magic eye, Reading Steiner, has seen it in the future. Escape while you can. Yeah, that might work.
ねえ、昨日も椎名真由里は泊まったの？
ああ。
ってことは、マキセ・クリスも？
ああ。二人とも上にいる。
そっか。
Suzuha's hostility toward Kurisu hasn't abated.
お前の方はどうだ？
どうだって？
少しは元気が出たのか？
ああ、うん。まあね。捜索は継続中。
あ？おいバイト、何の話だよ。
私、父さんを探してるんだって店長にも前話したじゃん。
ああ、その話か。岡部、探してやれ。
Why does he think he can boss me around?
無論だ。鈴葉はすでにラボメンとなっているのだからな。俺とその他メンバーに任せておけ。
Suzuha looks at me with a smile that shines through the gloom-filling the store.
岡部倫太郎って私と同い年なのにすごく年上って感じだな。なんか ぐいぐい引っ張ってく力があるよね。
Okay. That's the first time anyone said that to me. It kind of makes me happy.
当たり前だ。俺は王院京馬なのだからな。
The chipmunk cowers in terror as I unveil my madness. I can see tears pooling in her eyes. I guess my aura is just too powerful for a grade school girl to endure.
岡部、もし次大声出して苗を怯えさせたら殺す。
Ah, okay. Fair enough.
すみません。
でもさ、
Suzuha takes my arm and leads me away from the Tenojis, who have gone back to watching the TV.
これだけは忠告しとくけど、マキセクリスには留意して。
Uh-huh. And are you going to tell me anything specific, or are you just going to give me some sort of vague something?
留意。
Circumspect? Why can't she just say careful like a normal person? Not that I'm one to talk.
またか。ただの逆恨みだろ。
Suzuha shakes her head firmly.
違う。これは事実。私はそれを存知している。
Her perniciousness, huh? Perniciousness? Is she saying Krisu is dangerous? There's something strange about the way Suzuha is talking, and it's not just her fondness for uncommon words. There's something else, something...
あの女の頭脳は危険すぎ。それに結局あいつ実験のことしか考えてないんだ。
Suzuha's eyes are hard, and her voice is as cold as ice. I can tell she means every word she says.
君たちは利用されてるだけだよ。いい？よく聞いて。あの女はセルンに通じてる。
Okay, that's not vague. That's a direct accusation, I suppose. No, that's impossible. CERN is our enemy. If Daru's hacking is discovered, I have no doubt they will do everything in their power to destroy us. How can Krisu be connected to CERN?
つまりスパイだと言いたいのか。
Suzuha nods firmly.
タイムマシン開発の功績もあの女のものになった。
Again, Suzuha's words sound strange to my ears, but I still can't place my finger on why. It's, well, so far, has been proven, and was. They're both, they're past tense. They're in the past. So I think this is more, giving more credence to the idea that Suzuha is speaking from a future perspective here. At least that's what I'm picking up here.
だからさ、気を許しちゃダメ。
I don't believe it. I saw Krisu's anger when she learned what CERN had been doing. She called their actions a betrayal of scientists everywhere. How can someone with such a pure love of science be connected to CERN? You have to remember, Okabe, that science is it's a method, it's a tool. Loving science doesn't necessarily mean you have good intentions, or could be doing or using science for a good reason or a bad reason. So you should be careful about that. But if what Suzuha says is true, could she be the one who sent that threatening email? I don't think so. I don't think that's the case. I suspected Moeka, but... Oh, you did? When was that? Did he say that last time? That's interesting. I actually hadn't considered that. But now that he's actually said it, I don't, I actually find that feasible, now that I think about it. Well, I think it's more due to the fact that I still don't know what her deal is, so it's due to that. I could understand her being up to something, but yeah. Uh-oh. Suddenly the ground starts to shake. Chris, who started the experiment? But I haven't talked to Mr. Braun yet.
予想より早い。おい、こら岡部。
Sure enough, veins on Mr. Braun's forehead swell in response to the shaking.
揺らすなって何度言ったらわかんだ。若い娘だろうが俺は容赦しねえぞ。家賃1万円アップだ。
待ってくださいミスター・ブラウン。これは我がラボの仕業ではなく自信だ。俺の魔眼リーディングシュタイナーがそう予知を。
Ah, he actually went with it.
自信だ。そんなごまかしが通用すると思ってるのか。
What if it actually is, though? The shaking gets more intense, knocking over a CRT.
ブラウン管ちゃんが。
Crap. I can't talk my way out of this one.
てめえ、岡部。
Mr. Braun clearly wants to snap my neck like a twig, but he elects to protect his greatest treasure, the 42-inch CRT, instead. He grabs the remote and switches it off, then grabs hold of the TV and hangs on for dear life. I did want to, before we conclude whatever is going on here, I did want to go back to here. Okay, so, this conversation with Suzuha. This is when we first saw Suzuha seem suspicious with Kurisu. I just wanted to refer back to this. I said this at the time. The thought that I had was that either Kurisu is, she could be the sort of big bad or evil in the future, or her creations end up used by the big bad, or I'm not even sure if there has to be a big bad, but it could be used by various forces. It's just whatever she invents, ends up in the wrong hands, however many hands there happens to be. And so, but because she's the one who invented it, she sort of gets the blame for it in a sense. So, again, that the nuance between that is whether it's more. Is she, as Okabe said, where is it? Yeah, is she just someone with a pure love of science, or does she actually have some sort of malicious intent? And if she has I think if she has malicious intent, then that sort of speaks for itself. But the pure love of science, it could be, well, it could, I guess, depending on how it goes, either it could be a kind of arrogance or a kind of naivete. It depends. But we certainly have seen that when she is cautious at first, but once this whole deal with the time machine started to be proven, and then especially now that it's what we're doing now is entering more into her specific field of research. She is pretty dang gung-ho about all this. So, I mean, I could definitely believe it. Okay, let's figure out what's going on here.
収まった？
みたいだな。
Wait, it's over? I carefully step through the rubble and take the remote from the dazed Mr. Braun's hand. Well, whatever they did, it didn't cause a change, because we didn't go through any reading Steiner. I press the red power button. The 42-inch CRT instantly comes to life. I stare at the image on the screen and smile. What are you laughing at, buddy?
どうしたの？
見つけた。ついに見つけたぞ。これに間違いない。そうだ。これこそがリフターに変わるもの。
The 42-inch CRT? Is that what you're saying?
これほど分かりやすいのになぜ気づかなかったのだ俺は。いや、今この瞬間に気づいたことこそがシュタインズゲートの選択だということか。
おい岡部、何笑ってやがる。うちの娘を怖がらせるな。それとブラウン管の弁償と家賃値上げだからな。おい、
少し静かにしていただきましょうか、ミスター・ブラウン。今まさに俺は時空の支配者となることが確定したのですからね。
Thank you. Stars explode behind my eyes as Mr. Braun drives his fist into the top of my head. The world spins. I struggle to get a hold of my shaken brain.
この俺に暴力を振るうとは。
ああ
ミスター・ブラウン、ブラウン化の弁償についてはひとまずつけて頼みます。
With that, I fly out of the workshop. Well, okay, we haven't actually heard him say it yet, but if it's the CRT, that makes me wonder, because surely... Wouldn't you have to have the CRT on during the times we use the phone wave? Is it just always on? I don't know. I should just wait to hear what he has to say. I rub my head. It hurts like hell. Damn that Mr. Braun. Did he really have to crack me so hard? I wouldn't have been surprised if he had cracked you harder. Maybe I should report him for assault. Thanks to his brutality, I had to make a strategic retreat. Fortunately, I did not emerge empty-handed. The extra 10,000 yen a month will hurt, but in exchange, I have acquired information essential to the success of my plan. Hang on. Let me check this. Nope, not pesos. Okay, currently, in the current, as of the year 2023, that is $70.67. Okay, but what was that in 2010? Can I find that out? Exchange rates, historical exchange rates. Let's see. Okay, so I tried to I don't know why I tried to find this out. So $1 now in 2023 is 141 yen. And then in 2010, on average, it was $1 to 87.7 yen. So the yen was a bit closer to the dollar, but not, not an insane amount. But yeah. Okay, let's I don't know why I spent time looking that up. Let's the extra 10,000 yen a month will hurt, but in exchange I have acquired information essential to the success of my plan.
結果オーライだな。
Well, right now, Okabe, you should probably march on upstairs and figure out what in the world that was.
おかりー、今揺れたけど下は大丈夫だった？
Mayuri and Krisu appear in the second story window.
本当に不死鳥のごとく復活してるわね。
クリスティーナ、俺は今ここで予言しよう。3分後、お前はこの俺の偉大さに気づき、尊敬の念を抱くとな。
それはないと思う。
I run up the stairs.
なんでそんなわかりやすいことに今まで気づかなかった？
So wait, was it an earthquake? Or did they use the machine, the phone wave? Because, okay, hang on. When I tell Krisu about the 42-inch CRT downstairs, that is her first reaction.
なぜ俺は責められているのか。
責めてるんじゃない。私も含めて誰も気づけなかった間抜けさにがっかりしてるだけ。
東大元暮らしはガチ。
整理すると、さっき2階で電話レンジカッコ仮を稼働させ、ビルが揺れ出した時は42型のブラウン管テレビはついていた。
So were you guys just messing around? Well, she said she needed it to do it in order to set something up, right? It wasn't going to be a true... They weren't actually going to send anything. They were just trying to set up the brain scanner thing, right? I think? Something like that. That's why there was no reading Steiner or anything like that.
だがテレビを消すと、それに同期するようにして揺れも収まったのだ。
Okay, so yes, the TV does have to be on. So that means that presumably every other time we've ever used the phone wave, the TV was on. Is that why we're only able to use it during the day? Because at night, when they supposedly or presumably close the store and go home, they turn off that TV, right? But I guess during the day they have it on? Something like that?
放電現象は途中で強制的に中断されたわ。念のためにバナナを入れておいたんだけど、ゼリーマンにはならなかった。
それはね、いいことだと思うな。食べ物を粗末にしちゃダメだよ。
Hmm. Hang on, what turned off the TV? What turned off the TV? Okay, so the building's shaking. I guess it looks like the CRT might fall over. He grabs the remote, switches it off, and then grabs hold of the TV. How has that not happened before now? And when I say that, I mean, you know, turned off the TV while the building shook. Nobody replies to my ears off-point statement. We're busy reading about cathode ray tubes on the internet. It doesn't take long before we find something interesting. A cathode ray tube has a component called an electron gun, which uses extreme heat and strong electric field to accelerate electrons and turn them into a beam. Electric field, the area where an electric force has influence. For example, rubbing a balloon and putting it close to your head makes your hair rise through the influence of the resulting static electric field. How about that? The electron beam striking the TV screen's phosphor layer is what generates the picture. An electron gun could certainly work as a lifter.
解は出たわね。42型ブラウン管が放出している電子が電話レンジの作り出したリング特異点に干渉していた。放電現象はその影響よ。
夜になると電話レンジが使えなくなったのはブラウン管工房が閉まってる時間だったからか。
The round tube workshop doesn't have especially strict business hours, but usually it's open from around 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. That matches up perfectly with my observations that the phone wave name subject to change only works between noon and 6 p.m. A few instances it hasn't worked during that time frame can be explained by the TV being off. Okay, so that answers that. Although I don't remember when that happened. But I'll take your word for it. Okay, that explains that. So there have been periods where the TV was off and we couldn't use it during the day. Okay.
だが、ブラウン管がそんなに強力な電子を放出しているとは思えん。
電子量は強ければいいというわけじゃない。そんな単純な問題なら、セルンはとっくに問題を解決している。
I see, so it can't be too strong or too weak. By freak coincidence, the 42-inch CRT's electron gun appears to have exactly the right level of electron discharge. That's the only explanation.
まさに偶然の一致よ。ここには奇跡的にタイムマシンができる環境が揃っていた。
いや違うなクリスティーナ。すべてはシュタインズゲートの選択だ。
Rather than glare at me, as she has so many times in the past, Chrisu shoots me an exasperated smile.
別に何だっていいけど。
Myri looks up from her costume with a question in her eyes.
つまりね、スーパー電話レンジちゃんを完成させるためにはどうすればいいの？
原因が究明できたなら恐れることはない。あの大きなブラウン管がついているとき、タイムリープは可能になるという解を導けると思う。
さっき中断された最終調整も含めてさ、もう一回は実験が必要じゃね？
そうね。岡部。
なんだ？
もう一度下に行ってあのブラウン管をつけてきて。
クリスティーナよ、それは実に面白い冗談だな。それに対する俺の答えはミッションインポッシブルだ。
Oh yeah. I'm not going back down there. My head still hurts from last time. I feel like if they sent any other person down other than him, they could probably do it. It's just Okabe. It's Next time, I doubt I'll make it out alive. And whose fault would that be, really?
いいからさっさと行きなさいよ。
Chris orders me with a sour look. It's like I'm the assistant here.
あんたならできるって。さっきだってすごい発見してきたでしょ。
常習よ。お前、この俺を偉大なマッドサイエンティストだと認めているか？
いいえ。
あ、
グホー、即答とかひどす。
あ、しまった。おだてて頑張らせるなら、ここははいって言っておくべきだった。
Oops.
というわけで、はい。
遅いわ。
リフターの代替装置が見つかった今、タイムリープマシンは 99% 出来上がってる。
Krisu's expression suddenly turns serious, but I can see hunger in her eyes and the flush of excitement on her cheeks. She knows that we stand on the threshold of a new age in science, and she cannot resist the lure of the unknown. She's a true scientist, no doubt about it. What's the, there's a phrase coming to mind right now. Oh, what is it? Hang on. I know this phrase. Yeah, here it is. Yeah. The scientists were so preoccupied with whether they could, they didn't stop to think if they should. That's the one. That's what's coming to mind right now. This of course goes back to the Suzuha conversation too.
このラボの夢でしょ？タイムマシンは。
Our dream. I've never really thought about it that way. But she's right. My hands are shaking. Not from fear of Mr. Braun, but from excitement.
この俺の夢は時空を意のままに操り、これまでの支配構造をぶち壊すこと。そしてそこに新たな混沌を。
岡部、
Krisu interrupts my speech.
私は法王院じゃなくて岡部の意見が聞きたい。
She spears me with her gaze. I meet it head on. After a few moments, I feel my mouth curve into a smile.
上等だ。すべて俺に任せるがいい。
Ooh, we got the rare genuine Okabe there for a second. With that, I head downstairs. A cracked skull and empty wallet are a small price to pay for science. Krisu and Daru send me off with applause for some reason. Mayor is the only one who looks worried, but I pat her on the head in reassurance. When I get downstairs, Suzuha and the chipmunk are sitting side by side on the bench outside.
ウィス。
Nai gives me a quick bow, then hides behind Suzuha.
店長、さっきのでめちゃくちゃ機嫌悪くなっちゃってさ。今ないと退避中。
Damn, now I really don't want to go in there.
さっき思いっきりごっちんされてたけど、大丈夫？
この俺の世界遺産級の価値がある頭脳をよりによって殴るとは。あの一撃により一体何億個のニューロンが死に絶え、人類の未来に 多大な損失を被ったことか。
それは惜しい人を亡くしたな。
Lukako. About Mayuri-chan. You and Mayuri-chan don't go places together. You're both lab members, and I heard you were childhood friends, so I thought, I'm sorry if I misunderstood. P.S. I did 30 practice swings with Samadare. Yeah, they're friends and lab members, but they both do their own things. Mayuri does her own things, and Okabe does his own things every now and then. They're not bound at the hip or anything. Suzuha clasps her hands in solemn prayer. I'm not dead, it's just my brain cells.
ごめんなさい。お父さんがひどいことして。
こんな小動物で、なんと人間的によくできた娘なのだ。
I can't believe she's Mr. Braun's daughter.
案ずるな。俺も店長には迷惑をかけたし、おあいこだ。
And I smile slightly at my words of comfort.
時にバイト選手よ。お前に協力を頼みたい。ミスター・ブラウンの目を5秒でいいから引きつけておいてもらいたいのだ。
Suzuha's eyes start to shine.
色仕掛けだね。
Interesting that that's where your mind went to first. She flexes her bicep for some reason.
触ってみ。
She insists, so I poke it. It's just as hard as her confidence suggests. She's probably stronger than me. But I don't understand what flexing has to do with seduction. Well, you know, Okabe, it's, everyone has their type, right? You know, something like that.
誰も色仕掛けをしろとは言っていない。お前がやりたいと言うなら構わんが。
それぐらいできなきゃ戦士失格だし。それにさ、父さんのこと一緒に探すって言ってくれたでしょ。だから私もできるだけ君に協力したい。
なるほど。ならば戦士よ、任せるぞ。
オーキードーキー。鈴葉お姉ちゃん、お父さんをいじめないでね。いじめたりしないって。
いかにも。
I want to complain that he's the one being mean, but I just said we were even, so I refrain.
苗はここで待ってて。
The chipmunk nods. When we enter the store, we find Mr. Braun cleaning up the pieces of a broken CRT. When our eyes meet, another vein pops on his forehead.
筋を通しに来たのなら聞いてやる。ただし、賃下げ要求には応じねえからな。
先ほどは失礼しました。こちらも気が動転していたのでね。そこで謝罪の意も込めて我がラボを代表し、ここにいる天音鈴葉からミスター・ブラウン、あなたにプレゼントを贈らせてもらう。
店長、刮目せよ。
With a vigorous shout, which in no way seems appropriate for seduction, Suzuha whips off her jacket and...
Yeah!
throws it into Mr. Braun's face. What? What? Hang on. I'm kind of struggling to understand what I'm looking at here. Is that all you were wearing? I can see her bra. Okay, she's wearing... she's wearing something under that. Oh, wait, that's not a bra, but a tight tank top that leaves her midriff bare. Itsuzuha shows no sign of embarrassment as she rushes Mr. Braun. She slips behind him, grabs her coat, and pulls it tight against his face.
Okabe Rintaro, ima da!
Now wait just a second. Is this your idea of seduction? Looks like you're trying to suffocate him.
早く！
Mr. Braun flails his arms, trying to escape Suzuha's restraint. There's a huge difference in strength between the two. It's only a matter of time before he shakes Suzuha off.
よくやった戦士よ。お前の英雄的行動に感謝する。
Realizing that the only choice is to go for it, I dash to the counter, grab the remote, and switch on the CRT. The 42-inch CRT. After about 2 seconds, an image appears on the giant screen. At the same time, the ceiling starts shaking. Krisu activated the phone, waving him something to change with perfect timing. What is happening?
また揺れてる。岡部倫太郎、これって。
Did she really take off her clothes without knowing why?
助かったぞバイト戦士。できればあと10秒ほどそのまま拘束していてくれ。
During that time, I escaped from the store. Outside, Nai's following earthquake drill procedure, crouching while protecting her head. I ignore that and look up at the second floor. At exactly the same time, Krisu appears in the window and gives me a happy thumbs up. But a second later, she blushes, shoots me a glare, and disappears inside as if nothing happened. Huh. What's with her attitude? I'm risking my life here. In any case, the experiment was a success. 42-inch CRT was the key, as I suspected. So you're gonna be evicted, right? I mean, what? And Suzuha's probably gonna get fired, right? That's how this ends? Come on. Now, how do I explain this to Mr. Braun? Yeah, that's a good question. I don't want him to kick us out of the building. Perhaps I shouldn't have left it to Suzuha. Yeah. I timidly peek into the store to gauge the situation.
ちょっと店長、私の服返してよ。
Suzuha is there, fidgeting in her tank top, as Mr. Braun glares down at her.
うっせえ。これは没収だ。
この変態。
変態はおめえだろうが。いきなり脱ぎ出したと思ったら服を俺の顔面に押し付けてくるとは大したプレーだったぜ。岡部に感謝しねえとな。
プレイとか言わないでくんないかな。キモい。
とにかく今日は一日その学校で仕事しやがれ。へそだし結構。なんなら店の前で客引きしてくれてもいいんだぜ。
Wow, okay.
苗に言いつけるよ。
はは。あの子はおめえより俺の言葉を信じるだろうよ。何しろ俺の娘だからな。
くそー。
Ah, no problems here. Suzuha's seduction strategy worked. I guess. Mr. Braun, what a guy. Okay. That was a weird sound. I don't know what that was, and we're gonna call it there for the day. I don't really know what to think of what just happened. So I'm not going to. I'm going to save that for later. In any case, I've been The Worm. This has been Steins Gate. I hope you're all doing alright. And I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.